Hello guys, welcome to algebra class. So this is the second part of the domain and range lesson, and we have this one here like this front and back. So I looked at these questions and I believe it's easier for us to start with the example number 3, 2, and 1, like this order, because I guess that's the hardest one. So I know it looks a bit weird, but we're gonna start from example number 3. So let's get started. So let's look at this graph. So is it a discrete or continuous? This one is continuous because we have this line here. And now we have to find domain and range of this one. So let's put domain, range. Let's write it like this for every single one of them, because we have to use space wisely. So domain is x values. So you're gonna highlight x values like this. The reason that we highlight is because we are gonna use only this part of the number, right? So let's do this. So we have these two endpoints. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a line to this highlighted grid like that. So we are going to use these two numbers as the domain because it starts from here and it ends here. So in this graph, domain of this graph is, it starts from here, which is -8, and this is the closed circle, as you can see. So you're going to use less than or equal to. So domain is x, and it ends here on right side, which is 8 and another closed circle. So we're gonna put less than or equal to. Now remember, for the inequality symbol, we have less than or equal to, greater than, and greater than or equal to, right? When you have like two numbers like this, we always use either this or this. You never use it for here, okay? There's only one special cases that you're gonna use one of these two, and you're gonna learn it later. You only use this one when you see infinity sign later, okay? Now let's find the range. Range is the y value. So what we're going to do is we're gonna find the range. Range is the bottom to top. So here we go. That's the lowest point. This is the lowest point this graph can get, which is +3, less than or equal to y. And the highest point this graph can get is here, which is 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's it. That's the domain and range. It's pretty easy because I believe this one is what you have learned. So try this question by yourself. Pause the video, find domain and range of this graph. Okay, I wrote down the answer here so you can check it. So that's the inequality. That's what we have been working on so far. But how do we use it in set notation? That's a little bit different story, right? So here, for the domain, first you have to draw a curly bracket. And what you have to do is x by x is element of all real number, comma. It looks weird, isn't it? Yes, that's right. And what you do is you just copy inequality. -8 to +8. That's what we call set notation method. So basically what it means is x by. This part means now you're gonna write domain, and x is part of all real number, and the domain is this. That's what these things say, okay? And yes, I know it's very it can be confusing, but that's what it is. So for the range, it's gonna be similar. Domain is X, so Y is gonna be, range is gonna be Y. Y dash Y, part of all real number, that 3 less than or equal to Y less than or equal to 7. So that's it. That's a set notation. So you're gonna write, these are same thing. And interval notation, how do we use interval notation in this one? You just put this one. It's closed circle, right? For the closed, we use bracket. For the open circle, so that's for closed circle. For the open circle, you use parentheses like that, okay? Since it is closed, you're gonna put closed circle, -8, comma 8. For the range, that's gonna be 3, comma 7. That's it. The only thing that you have to be careful is when you're doing interval notation, you have to use D and R clearly. Because if you don't put domain or range, you never know whether this one stands for the domain or range. Okay? Alright, try these questions by yourself. So that's wrong because, as I said, I have to put D and I have to put R. Otherwise, that's wrong because I cannot tell whether I'm writing domain or range. So that's it. That's the basic concept of inequalities, set notation, and interval notations. I believe this one is the easiest. And this one is basically just like you're writing this one and then you copy this one down. And do you have to memorize all these things? Yes, you do have to. Because in multiple choice questions, you never know which one of these three I'm gonna be using, okay? Or I may trick you by like switching X and Y, stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Let's talk about the second one. That's a discrete because you see the scatter point and you're gonna use this point for this. Now, as you can see, these points, this is the lowest point. I mean, it starts from the what, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and it ends in +6. Now, the problem is you cannot do it. You cannot do this. You cannot do this because this one can only be used for continuous. Because this one basically means X can be any number between -6 and +6. But as you can see, X can be 0, X can be 2, but X cannot be 1. This part is empty. So this cannot be used. With the same reason, you cannot use interval notation. You just have to use set notation. So indicate domain like that. Let's put D with a red color. X can be -6, -4, like this, -2, 0, until 6. Again, you have to indicate domain clearly, otherwise, how could I know whether it's domain or range? Or if you don't like to label like this, you can use this one, but you have to use Z like that. But I believe you don't want that. So just what I recommend you to do is just put it clearly like this, okay? So let's talk about the range. Range is pretty simple. We start from what? -1, -2, -3, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, and 0. Remember, even this one is on positive side of the X, we're only using this green one, okay? So -6, we're only using these numbers. That's why we go like this. Now try this question by yourself. that's it, by the way. It's not possible for this too. Keep that in mind. It's very easy concept. Now here we go. Let's try this question. There's a reason that I postponed this question to the end, because this one will involve infinity. Okay. So first, let me put domain and range first, because I think that will help to save our space. So let's find domain. To find domain, first we need two endpoints like this, like points, right? So where does it start from the left? -1? No, this +1? No. It's going up, but it's keep going to the left as well. It's not here because this arrow, that means it's keep going. It does not stop. It's keep going to the left. It's keep going to the right. In this case, we call it what? Negative infinity, because it does not stop. X. And it does not stop to the right side, so positive infinity. Okay? Now, about this one, you have to know, I did not put line underneath it because you can never be equal to infinity. If you put line underneath it, that means it can be equal. So it's going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. How can I write this one in set notation? X by X is part of a real number, and that's it. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say it. Mathematicians, they do not want to write infinity sign, so instead of writing this, you can just put R like that. Just like this. You know, like, just like this one, I write until here, and I suppose copy this one like this. But mathematicians, they don't even bother themselves to copy this one, so they just stop here. That's what it is. All real number, okay? For the interval notation, since it is open circle, consider this open. You use parentheses, negative infinity to positive infinity. That's it. Now, try this question by yourself. Find domain and range. Just pause the video, find domain and range. Oh, just find the domain, not the range. Yeah, I wrote down the answer here for you. So here, about the range, now range is gonna be our major part of this lesson, which you know already. Range is bottom to top, right? So let's look at this graph here. What's the lowest point this graph can get? -1, isn't it? -1. And this point is part of this line, so that is considered as closed circle, y. And then it's keep going up to the infinity. All right? So now you're gonna use only this one because mathematicians do not want to use infinity sign, so you're gonna only use this part. Do we have to flip it or no? Yes, we do have to flip it because y should come first. So you flip even inequality symbol, okay? That's it. And when you write down the set notation, you have to write it like this. And for the range, we start from -1, right? So for the range, you use this one. Bracket, -1, comma, it going to infinity, right? For the infinity, you use parentheses. So if you don't get it, just look at this one carefully. Just look at this carefully, why I put bracket and parentheses for this, and compare it with this, so that you can understand. Now try this one by yourself and see what you get. Just copying down the note will not help you. You should try it by yourself. That will help you. All right? So that's it. So that's the major part of our lesson for this one. And now we're gonna go, I'm gonna go over this one, and you are gonna try these questions by yourself, okay? I'm expecting some mistake from here and here, so keep that in mind. So here, again, just like usual, I'm gonna write domain and range, domain and range, domain and range, okay? Let's do this. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. Okay. Domain. Again, we're going to use only these numbers, the numbers that we highlighted. Domain is what? Oh, by the way, this is continuous. X values, right? So this graph tells us the valuable booster club t-shirt sale profit. So X value stands for what? Number of t-shirts sold, and Y value profit. So what's the lowest number possible from this graph? This one is considered this closed circle here. Is it negative 1,000? No, because we did not even highlight these numbers. We only highlighted this number. So draw the line here. It's 0. So lowest number, because it's number of t-shirts, right? You cannot even sell any t-shirts. That's the lowest. And the highest number, maximum number of t-shirts that you can sell is 160. It's only because you have 160 t-shirts in total. What about how can I write this one down instead notation? I mean, you should be able to do this one by yourself now. Like this. Interval notation 0 to 160. Like that, okay? Now about the range, now you're gonna use these numbers. So what's the lowest number that you can get? Yeah, if you don't sell anything else, you just made the t-shirts for $1,000, too bad. That's the money that you owe. And the highest profit that you can get is $2,200. Okay? If you change it to notation, negative 1,000, 2,200, and interval notation. Oops. Like that, okay? So try this question by yourself now. Now pause here. If you need to copy, just pause the video and now do this. Pause the video and try it by yourself. I'm done. In case you made a mistake, domain is gonna be not 50 to 75, it's 0 to 75. And for the range, what's the range gonna be? It's not 75 to 50, that does not make sense. It's a 0 to 50. Okay, and remember, let's say you put 50 first and 0 later, that's wrong. Always put smaller number on the left, higher number on the right. That's what it should be, okay? So try these questions by yourself. This one, D should be what? It's not, lowest to the highest. Negative 4, negative 1, and 0. Oh, no, that's the range. That's the range. What am I doing? That's the range. And domain is negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay? Now this one. Always bottom to top, bottom to top, bottom to top. Lowest number possible is what? Negative infinity. Oh, no. Domain is all real number, by the way. And for the range, its lowest number is negative infinity because it's keep going down, and highest number possible is 3. And again, we're gonna only use this part. And do we have to flip the inequality symbol? No, not this time, because y comes first already. So that's it. When you write this one down in interval notation, it's going to be negative infinity to positive 3, like that. Again, if you switch the order, that's wrong. So that's it, guys. I believe you guys can do this one by yourself. Get it done. Yeah, and good luck on this lesson. See you guys. Bye.